Hello, everybody. So, let me guess, you've just watched the newest episode of The Mandalorian, and you're a bit confused. Maybe you've only seen the Star Wars movies, or maybe you're just watching The Mandalorian without having any previous knowledge of Star Wars at all, and you're a bit confused on who this new character Bo-Katan is, what the heck is the Darksaber, and who is Ahsoka Tano? Well, today, I'm going to tackle one of those questions, namely, who is Ahsoka Tano? I will explain afterwards a little bit of quickly who Bo-Katan is and what the Darksaber is, but mainly this video is going to be tackling the one question, who is Ahsoka Tano? Let's go. Okay, so prior to this year, I, like probably you, really didn't know who Ahsoka was that well. Like, I knew that she was a Jedi, she was Anakin's Padawan, she had two lightsabers that she held in reverse grip. She was a very popular character. She was in the animated TV shows Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. She had a few books about her, but I didn't know her whole story. I just had kind of heard about her just from knowing about Star Wars. But that all changed when two things happened. One, I found out that Clone Wars Season 7 was coming out, and two, I found out that Ahsoka was going to be in The Mandalorian. And these two things made me, around January, realize that it was as good a time as ever to finally watch Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. So I did, and you can watch videos of me talking about watching both of those up there. And so I figured that I would make this video now because probably a lot of people didn't do that earlier this year, didn't watch Clone Wars and Rebels before watching Mandalorian, so you're probably a little bit confused on who Ahsoka is, what's her whole story, and today I'm going to tell you exactly what her story is. Now, if you're watching this video and you already do know who Ahsoka is, and you've seen Clone Wars and Rebels and read all the books and stuff, just know I'm only gonna be saying stuff from Clone Wars and Rebels, because those are the only two things I've seen, or that's only the two things I've seen of Ahsoka. I haven't read the books yet, I probably won't do that for a while, so just know all of my knowledge is only coming from Clone Wars and Rebels, so if I make a mistake or leave something out, it's because I don't know about that yet. I also want to say that this video is mainly for if you want to know who Ahsoka is, but you don't want to go through watching Clone Wars and Rebels just yet, because you just don't have the time to do it and you want to watch The Mandalorian. And I'll try to sort of keep the spoilers for it, just, to a minimum, just say the main things about Ahsoka, so that way if you want to watch Clone Wars and Rebels in the future, you don't have it all ruined for you, but there's going to be some serious plot points that I'll have to bring up, so if you just want to go into Clone Wars and Rebels completely, not knowing anything that happens, then maybe don't watch the rest of the video, and just go watch Clone Wars and Rebels first, and then watch The Mandalorian. But anyway, with that said, let's get started. So, Ahsoka Tano, as I said earlier, was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan during the Clone Wars. And over the course of the Clone Wars, they formed a very close relationship, a very strong bond with each other, as strongest relationship of really any Jedi Padawan relationship ever. But then, everything started to go downhill when Ahsoka got framed for bombing the Jedi Temple, a crime that she did not commit. And because of this, she is expelled from the Jedi Order. But then Anakin tries to clear her name, and he reveals that the person that actually bombed the Jedi Temple was Baris Alfi. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. A Padawan friend of Ahsoka. So Ahsoka is invited back to the Jedi Order, but she refuses, having lost faith in the Jedi. And that scene, by the way, is one of the saddest scenes of all of Clone Wars, maybe all of Star Wars. So Ahsoka isn't a Jedi for a while, until she has to go back and do some Jedi work to free Mandalore from being ruled by Darth Maul. Yes, that's probably surprising for some, but yes, Darth Maul is still alive. And also, you're probably starting to see the connection to Mandalorian, freeing Mandalore from Darth Maul, Mandalorian, you're probably starting to see that connection. And on this mission, she teams up with Bo-Katan, remember the character that you saw in the Mandalorian episode? Yeah. That's her. And now you're probably seeing even more of the connection to the Mandalorian, and specifically to Bo-Katan. And they defeat Darth Maul and free Mandalore. However, before defeating him, Darth Maul tells Ahsoka about Palpatine's plan to make Anakin his new apprentice. And Ahsoka gets the chance to tell the Jedi Order about this, but she refuses because they're kind of a jerk to her, and she wants to tell Anakin herself. But then, on the way back to Coruscant with Darth Maul, Order 66 happens. And if you need a refresher on what Order 66 is, it's when the whole clone army that previously was working with the Jedi turns against the Jedi because of a biochip in their head. And the other thing you probably need to know is that there is a ton of clones on the ship that Ahsoka is on. So they all turn on Ahsoka. Even one of her best, closest friends that's also a clone, Captain Rex. But I do have to say that he very impressively fights off the switch at first. But sadly, he indeed does turn on Ahsoka also. So Ahsoka is being attacked by a bunch of clones, previously her friends, and so she has to go and free a foe, Darth Maul. So she frees Darth Maul to help her fend off the clones, and Darth Maul just goes berserk on the clones. It's kind of sad, but also epic. It's sort of like the Darth Vader hallway scene at the end of Rogue One. But in a great turn of events, Ahsoka is actually able to remove the biochip from her friend Captain Rex's head, and he turns good again. But then Darth Maul rips the hyperdrive out of the ship and then escapes. So now the ship that they're on is coming crashing down to the nearest planet. Ahsoka and Rex are able to escape on an X-Wing, but none of the clones are. So they have to bury their dead friends. And then we don't really see much of Ahsoka and Rex, except maybe in some books that I haven't read, until Star Wars Rebels, where Ahsoka is revealed to be Fulcrum, the name given to intel agents for the rebellion. And she teams up with two Jedi named Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger to defeat Darth Vader. Also, she doesn't know who Darth Vader is just yet, and if you don't know who Darth Vader is and why that's important to Ahsoka, go watch Empire Strikes Back before watching the rest of the video, because I'm about to give a spoiler for it. Darth Vader's Anakin Skywalker, her previous master. So, yeah. Now you're probably thinking, hold on a second, Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger are Jedi after Order 66? How's that possible? And how come they don't come up later in the original trilogy? Well, to find that out, go watch Star Wars Rebels. So at this point, Ahsoka has teamed up with Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger, and they are trying to defeat Darth Vader. And like I said, Ahsoka doesn't know at this point that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. Until she does, and it's devastating. And actually, she feels a bit guilty about it. And remember, she could have prevented all of this if she had just told the Jedi Order Palpatine's plan. Although, to be honest, I'm not really sure they would have done anything anyway, but, you know. Anyway, though, Ahsoka, Kanan, and Ezra end up going to a Sith temple where Darth Vader shows up. And Ahsoka has to fight her former master, Anakin, who is now Darth Vader. And I have to tell you, that lightsaber duel is epic. But the Sith temple is collapsing at that point, and Kanan and Ezra have to escape, leaving Ahsoka perceived to be dead. But there is this shot that looks like her walking down into the temple, so that left a lot of fans at that point wondering, is she still alive? And the answer is yes. Because you find out later that she is saved by a future Ezra in the World Between Worlds. And all you need to know about the World Between Worlds is that I guess it's a place outside of space and time. There's a bunch of portals everywhere that you can go through to access different points in time. And so Ezra enters the World Between Worlds and he saves Ahsoka while she's fighting Darth Vader. And after an encounter with Palpatine, Ahsoka goes back to her time. And we don't see Ahsoka until the last shot of Star Wars Rebels, where we find out that she is teaming up with Sabine Wren, also a Mandalorian, to go find Ezra Bridger. Now you might be wondering, why do they need to find Ezra Bridger? Well, go watch Star Wars Rebels. Anyway though, that is the whole story of Ahsoka up until this point. So at this point, when we meet her and the Mandalorian, she's going to be probably with Sabine Wren, searching for Ezra Bridger, who will probably also show up in the Mandalorian at some point. And I'll have to make a whole video about him. Now I also said that I was going to talk about Bo-Katan and the Darksaber, so I'll do that now. Bo-Katan was the sister of Satine, who was once the Duchess of Mandalore. And if you want to know more about Satine, go watch Clone Wars and you could see her whole story. And her connection to the Darksaber is that she was actually the last known person to have it before we saw Moff Gideon with it at the end of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. And yes, by the way, if you didn't know, that's the Darksaber, the thing that he's holding there. So, it seems like that at some point, Moff Gideon must have stolen the Darksaber from Bo-Katan, and she's trying to get it back. Which means that this is most certainly not going to be the last time that we're going to see Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian. And that is exciting. Anyway, I hope you learned something from this video. Who's Ahsoka Tano? Who's Bo-Katan? What's the Darksaber? Anyway though, please comment below your thoughts on the newest episode of The Mandalorian. Also, remember to like, subscribe, check out some of my other videos. And with that said, that's a wrap.